Hi, everyone. This is take two of Struggle to Strength LinkedIn Live for today. We were already live for about 10 minutes, but only on YouTube and Facebook. So we are back and we're on YouTube and LinkedIn and not Facebook this time. So
The,
welcome,
the
Solita.
struggle, the struggle to
This,
strength. Sometimes you
this
go
is
through
it.
these obstacles, and it's how you bounce back, right?
That's
So
right, in
I
real
wanted to
time.
make sure that we're broadcasting on LinkedIn as well. So I'm checking LinkedIn for you, Maribeth, to make sure that we're connected. For those of you who are connecting with us for the second time or maybe the first time, let us know in the chat that you can see and hear us clearly. The
Thank you.
struggle is
Thank
real,
you,
but we're
Solita.
going to persevere.
That's right. That's right. We are going to do this today. Yes, if you're with us, please put a comment and so that we know that you are here. So welcome, Solita, to Struggle to Strength.
Yes.
Um, so excited to have you here. So I'm just going to quickly introduce myself in case we haven't met before. My name is Mary Beth Simone, and I am the founder and CEO of Niche Partnership Consulting. I show professionals and entrepreneurs how to create their contingency plans so that they are prepared for an extended vacation or for an emergency. And my business started as a result of a personal struggle. And I created this platform to highlight the struggles and strengths that my collaborators and clients have experienced in hopes that it will spark an idea to connect your struggle to strength story as you listen to the stories shared with you here. So, Salita, before we jump into the interview, can you share with us a little bit about your background and your business?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you very much, Maribeth, for having me. I appreciate it. And I appreciate as we struggle through this that being able to continue the conversation because we were having such a good time. For those of you who are connecting with Maribeth and myself for the first time, my name is Solita Roberts. I'm the founder of Style to Impact. It's a personal styling and image coaching agency that basically helps women like yourself who are looking to have freedom in your wardrobe, freedom of choice in the clothing that you wear, freedom to feel confident in your body, to style you authentically based on your personality and style. So, thanks for having me.
Awesome. And so Salita and I met through Speaking Your Brand. And I was able to meet Solita in real life in April in Florida at the Speaking Your Brand retreat, where Salita was like giving us feedback on our talks, but she was also coaching us from a style perspective, all of the speakers. For our posing and what we were wearing and everything. So it was so wonderful to see you in action, Salita.
Yeah, it was great to meet you as well. It was so much fun just being able to
It
do that.
was.
Being in a room with everyone, it was fun.
It was, yeah, it was the best retreat ever.
Yep.
Um, so, uh, our today's conversation, we are going to focus on the strength of creating your own yes in response to experiencing the struggle of rejection. So, can you take us back and share with us what inspired your move to the US?
Yes, it's that one factor that most women can probably relate to, where we moved from probably our home country to another, in my case, because of a spouse, because of family, right? I always feel so much joy whenever I hear a woman say to me, and oh, I moved to such and such. And I'm like, why did you move? And they're like, oh, I got a job and my husband moved with me. I'm like, yes, we're redefining and just changing the narrative behind women being the one that's leading and then the spouse follow them. Unfortunately, in my case, I'm still part of the stereotype, so to speak. But yeah, that's my reason for moving. Family and of course my husband.
And so one thing I do want to encourage people, if you are here, just put comments in, and if you have any questions, we'll keep an eye on the comments and check in on your questions. So can you walk us through like What were the scenarios when you experienced rejection after you arrived here?
Ah, yes, I know we got caught off in the middle of this, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I know. Rejection and getting no, as I was saying, it's not something any of us like to hear, whether or not we're building our business, trying to get clients, or interviewing for a job, or just putting ourselves out there, right? And getting and hearing the word no can sometimes really um depending, especially if you're a feeling person, it can impact your confidence and your self-belief. And so when I moved here to Atlanta in 2019 and going through that process of trying to figure out what is it I wanted to do, what my next step was. And I borrowed this phrase from Viola Davis, which is crisis of meaning. I was going through that while I was living in Antigua. When I moved here, I was still going through it, and I am still going through it, trying to find that meaning and purpose in my life, making sure that whatever I do next and whatever that thing that I was going to live the rest of my days in, it's able to contribute in a positive way to society and everyone that I come in contact with. So for me, after spending 15 years in banking and not wanting to do that anymore, it's like, okay, I need to find that thing that's going to give me meaning and purpose. And so while I was here, it's like, okay, in the meantime, I'm trying to figure that out because I gave up everything was that I was familiar with. I felt like I gave up a completely different life, and here is it. I'm restarting my life, which felt to me like from scratch, right? I no longer had a community. I no longer had like the ability to just pick up myself and go because I wasn't driving when I got here and I was driving in Antigua. There were so many little things that made me at that point where I thought made me who I was, right? And now being in a new country and not having any of those things that was just we take for granted, and those things that, yeah, I can do this, and then the freedom to do that, and the freedom to go here, and the freedom to say, okay, maybe I wanted a new job and there's someone that I can talk to, right, and send my resume to and have that connection with. And I had none of that moving to the US. I had none of that. Yes, I had family here, but I didn't have that community. And so going through the process of, okay, I just need a job so I can create some semblance of normalcy in my life, just have a path where I can say, okay, I'm going to work. I have this job. It's providing me some income, which is going to create some stability. And and while I'm doing that, I can figure out what my next thing is. And so I was interviewing and sending out resumes for every single thing under the sun, like things that didn't match my qualifications. And these weren't things that was above my qualifications. I was just applying because I was in that space where I just need to get a job. I just need someone to say yes to me. And just tracking what I was doing, resumes that I was sending out. Eventually, that spreadsheet went because I no longer had the capability to track because I was applying for everything. And so I remember being on this interview because every time I heard no, like someone replied to my application and said no, it took a bit of my confidence, it took a bit of my self esteem. When I didn't get an answer, it's like, what, I couldn't get that job? Like, I can get a job in a supermarket as a cashier? Like, really? Like, with my experience? No. And then I remember going on a few interviews and being asked if I speak English. I know what I'm saying right now, us having this conversation, I know I'm speaking English. And for someone to ask me that in an interview, I was like, are you kidding me? Right? Like I didn't ask that person what they meant by me not speaking English. After getting so many no's, at that point, it felt like I was being rejected for the fact that I was not an American and not understanding that being an immigrant from the Caribbean does not mean you do not speak English or have the qualifications, or the qualifications that you have is not real. Right. And just hearing someone ask me that, I had to, like, I'm there like questioning myself whether or not I used language that I may have used with my friends in the Caribbean, and like those vernaculars that we will use that, someone may not understand. And I totally get that. So, but I was questioning myself. I was like, no, but I just said, how are you doing? And you asked me what my strengths are, and I just explained what my strengths are using English words. And just constantly getting those no's and constantly being where someone is undervaluing me because they may not understand my culture, they may not understand me, and then looking at, oh, you're an immigrant, right? It's like just constantly getting that. Those no's was just chipping away at who I was to the core, and it was not a easy experience. Or yeah, I it was sad.
Mm, my heart breaks for that, for you having that experience, Lita. Uh, and so I'm so curious as to how, after experiencing that rejection, were you inspired to create your own yes? And what was that story?
Creating my own yes wasn't something that I actually thought about. Like I didn't sit down and go, "Oh, let me create my own yes," because everybody else is saying no to me, right? I literally what I was doing was self-care for myself. I got up every morning and decided, how am I going to reframe my mindset? Like, what are some of the things that I had control over? And how was I going to change how I felt about myself? Because everybody else was saying no to me. I was getting all these different criticisms and things coming from different places and feelings, and everybody had an opinion. And so I was like, okay, I need to reclaim my own strength. I need to reclaim my confidence for me because I know the type of person that I am, right? I'm not one to stay down. I'm not one to allow the circumstances that I'm in to dictate what I do next. And I was like, why am I in this space at this time in my life allowing this moment to define me? And I was like, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be a defining moment for me. And so I got up in the morning. I was like, what do I need to do differently to feed my soul, to feed my mind, to give me the strength that I needed? And there are a few things that I did. I got heavy on into TEDx talk. I go
Mm,
into the bathroom, got on YouTube, and I'll just TEDx talk on confidence. Whatever came up, that was what I listened to for that day. And then I would do like, okay, I need to personal development in terms of reading people's story. It wasn't something that I thought was something that I needed to do. But at that moment, I was like, I want to hear someone else's story, how they did things differently. And the first book I read was Do It Scared by Ruth Suka. And that book, there's one line out of that book that I took. I cannot tell you anything else. Like I know the concept of the book, Doing It Scared, obviously, but there's one line out of that book that became the catalyst for everything that I did. And it said, action is the antidote to fear.
I love that.
So I had to decide when I read that and I took that line, which is actually it's on my desk. I have it framed on my desk. I said to myself, what action can I take right now to change the trajectory of my life, to reclaim my life, to get back the things that I felt like made me me? And so I looked at, okay, what are some of the strengths do I have? What are some of the things that I'm going through? What are some of the, like will really make me feel whole again? And so I was dabbling in personal styling before, but it was more of a hobby. It was more of my creative outlet. And so I took a look at it. I'm like, why not do this? Because every morning, what made me feel good about myself was getting up and getting dressed. It helped me to get over what everything that was happening and really tap into me and how I wanted to see myself. So I'm like, maybe there are other women that's experiencing this right now that don't feel confident in themselves, that's struggling from different insecurities. Why not start a business that helps them? But I did not want to be your ordinary personal stylist. I didn't want to come on and say, hey, Marybeth, here are 5 ways to wear pink, or here is something that you need to do. I needed my business to, as I said, I was searching for that meaning and that impact that I wanted to have. So I wanted my business to be more than just clothes. And I wanted my business to be women empowerment through style. And with that confidence is what I was like, yeah, I'm creating my own yes. I'm going to do this. Because for every woman that I get to work with, for every woman that I got a chance to help her overcome her insecurities and obstacles and got and felt confident and belief in herself, that's why I'm here today. Trust me, that's why I'm here today.
I love it. And what's coming up for me as I'm listening to your story, Solita, is how perfect the timing was of everything that you experienced in 2019, right before we all went into that, you
Yeah.
know, fear-filled environment, living in yoga pants, not dressing anymore. Like, I feel like that experience of that in-depth immersion of everything that you went through was the perfect training ground to prepare you to be ready to help us in 2020.
I don't think I would call it perfect because by 2020, when we were all going through the pandemic, I was still struggling.
Of course.
I was still struggling emotionally. I was still struggling with my confidence and my self belief. And so my sister and I will joke about this. Is like, yo, you were living through you lived the pandemic before people were living the pandemic, and I'm like, yeah, I know, right?
You did.
So, but it was just a matter of me just trying to find and believe that I can do something, right? And knowing that with all the uncertainties, yes, here us living in a new country, and then of course being thrown into the pandemic. So that in a way, it was two part. It made it worse for me in that I was like, oh, I can't go out, I can't network. And then the other side of it, me looking at the glass half full, I was like, oh, yes, there's loss of life is not something that I would relish in, that because of the situation that made sense for me. I looked at it as the world slowed down so that I can catch up.
Oh, that's beautiful. And when I think of the style coaching that you did at the retreat in Florida, like, I think there are no more vulnerable women than women speakers right before they're going to go on stage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like the fear that comes up and that uncertainty that comes up, that I feel like it's just such a perfect place to uh, help to bolster the confidence of women when you know that they're going to have that natural dip in confidence
Yeah.
when they're putting themselves out there and their message out there.
Absolutely. And I mean, in your case, you're telling a powerful story. And one of the things that I like what Carol is doing with Speaking Your Brand is basically empowering us as women to reshape the narrative as to how we show up and how we use our voice. And so, if you're going to tell those powerful stories to change the perception of women, it means that you have to show up in a way that shows and change the perception of women speakers on that stage. And that comes down to how you present yourself, right? If you're talking about struggle to strength and the things that you would have gone through and how you are helping women to in their 50s and beyond be confident in themselves, right? As a speaker, stepping on stage and showing a presentation that doesn't show that you're confident in yourself, all that work that you do to put into your message and to say, I can help you. I feel as though you're devaluing yourself when you do that because you're saying, let's empower women. This is how we're going to change the narrative. But you're showing a level of insecurity. It's like, I mean, we talked about this when you asked me, should I wear my jacket? Right. And I think I asked you, I don't quite remember how the conversation went, but I think I kind of asked you if it was because you felt good in it or you were using it as a security blanket, right? Like it's something that I'm accustomed to, so I'm just going to wear it. But when I listen to your talk and your talk about empowering women 50 and beyond to really this second act, I'm like, there's nothing more powerful than looking at you just showing up there saying, this is me, right? This is who I am. I'm not hiding my arms. I'm not hiding my shoulders. This is who I am. And there's power in connecting your message with your image.
I love that. And so I thought that it was so powerful. And I saw you do that with other speakers. And such a perfect place for your gifts, to
Yeah.
come to light. Um, so, Sleet, I know that we are running short on time, so I just want to switch gears and talk a little bit about your business. What is on the horizon in your business? Do you have any programs or any offers that you are
Oh.
advertising right now?
Yes. So thank you very much for that, Maribeth. I appreciate it. So right now, we've all been struggling where, we went through the pandemic for those 2+ years. Some of us may have lost confidence in ourselves. Some of us may have body wise may have changed a little bit. And so you're trying to figure out, like, what do I wear now? How do I dress this body? I know, like, right now, Google, I saw this article where Google is said the most Google term is like, what are people wearing now? Right? Because we're going back into the workplace or we're going on stages. Like, what do I wear now? So I thought it fit in to create a package that help women with where they are right now. And that is the wardrobe revision, because some persons may have gone crazy with the Lululemons and and some persons may have continued with the same closet. So the wardrobe revision is basically a 3-hour program that we get on a virtual setting. If you're in Atlanta, then of course I'm open to doing in person, going into your closet and helping you. But virtually, we go into your closet together and kind of look at what you have in your closet. What are some of the things that are not fitting you? Like, I have this saying that I saw on Twitter once, not because it zips, it fits, right? So there may be things in your closet that you put it on and you pull the zipper up and it's like, oh, I had to squeeze myself into that, and then you got into it, but it's not comfortable. You're not able to move around in it. So that wardrobe revision is to go through that process of assessing what you have in your closet, assessing what are some of the things that you want to do right now. Maybe you're pitching yourself for more visibility on stage. And so it's kind of like, it's the process. What we do is to help you. What I do actually is just to help you get the pieces that can fit your body, make you feel confident and comfortable, and position you for those opportunities that you're looking for. So to contact me if you're something that you're like, yeah, my wardrobe, I have a lot of things in there and it's not aligning with who I am. It's not fitting me. It's not aligning with my personal or professional goals that I have. Then of course I invite you on LinkedIn. That's my happy place. You can message me there. You can also message me at Solita at styletoimpact.com.
And I will put that information in the post, in the comments of the post, so that people know how to get a hold of you. And I think that wardrobe revision is so powerful because half the challenge for me after the pandemic is I had never cleaned out after corporate. So I
Yeah.
had this like other person living in my closet who I no longer was. And so I was kind of stuck, but my closet was packed with clothes
Yeah.
that I wasn't excited about and didn't want to wear. So part of it was just creating space.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love what you said there. There was this other person living in my closet, right? And there's for so many women, that's what it is. There's another person living in their closet because of another life that you lived once, right? And it's now aligning who you are today and creating space for the places that and the opportunities that you're creating for yourself. And you can't do that if someone else is in your closet feeding you clothes that does not align with who you are. So I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Sleeta, for joining me today. And I apologize greatly for the struggle that we experienced in our
Yeah.
struggle to strength
I
story.
I think it's just kismet. We're talking about struggle to strength, and we've all experienced some form of struggle. It's how we persevere, right? How we come out on the other end. So even that glitch in our broadcast before, maybe that glitch was necessary for us to then have this conversation. Maybe it was gonna be different, and this one is better. So I kind of like look at life now where when things happen, you kind of pick yourself up and find that strength that you need and create the thing that you actually need. So, no need to apologize. I welcome the challenge.
Thank you so much, Sleeta. You are definitely up to the challenge.
Yes, yes, I've
So
had
thank you.
experience.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to any comments from anyone. We will continue to check in on the post. Thanks again, Sleeta.
Thank you, Maribeth. Bye, everyone.
Bye.